All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're looking at what artificial intelligence can teach us about, of all things, education. Yeah, it's a connection you've probably never thought about, but stick with me because it's fascinating. So, let's start with a question. What in the world does an AI solving a puzzle have in common with a student, grinding away to get their degree online? I know, it sounds like a crazy comparison, right? But the answer, well, it gets to the very core of what learning is. Okay, so think about it like this. On one side, you've got AI, this really logical, mathematical world of designing rational minds basically from zero. And then on the other side, you have the huge, global world of distance education, which is all about teaching human minds across entire continents. I mean, they seem like total opposites. But what if I told you they share this kind of secret fundamental goal, and that's to systematize the whole process of learning? All right, so first up, formulating the problem. In other words, how do you even define what needs to be learned in the first place? So, in the world of AI, this initial step has a name. It's called problem formulation. It's really just the process of deciding what actions and states you're even going to consider to get to the finish line. It's like setting the rules of the game, right? You can't possibly win if you don't know what winning is or what moves you're even allowed to make. And this is where it gets really interesting. Take a look at this table. For an AI trying to find a route, you have an initial state, a set of actions, and a goal test. Now, look at a university degree program. It works the exact same way. The initial state, you're enrolled. The actions, you complete courses, write your thesis. And the goal test, that's passing your final qualification exam. All of a sudden, a university curriculum doesn't just look like a list of classes, it looks like a problem that's been formulated specifically for a human to solve. Okay, next section, structuring knowledge. So once you've defined the problem, how do you turn a whole bunch of raw information into something, actually usable? And what do you know? The two worlds mirror each other almost perfectly here too. An AI uses what's called formal logic, systems of symbols and rules to make sense of things. While in distance ed, they use these technical standards, things like IMS or AICIC, to do pretty much the same job for course materials. You can almost think of it like a USB port for education, right? It's a standard format so that any system can read and deliver the material. Both fields are basically trying to build a formal language for knowledge. Man, and this quote from Edward Feigenbaum, one of the pioneers of AI, just hits the nail on the head. He said that for the Dendrol system, all the relevant theoretical knowledge has been mapped over from its general form to efficient special forms. And get this part, cookbook recipes. That is the perfect metaphor. It's all about taking these big, abstract ideas, the first principles, and turning them into a simple, step-by-step recipe that anyone or anything can follow. That's what a great course does, and it's exactly what a great AI knowledge base does too. Okay, moving on. Section 3, searching for the solution. This is all about finding a path from the start all the way to the finish. Now, for a student, this path is something we all recognize, right? It's a clear sequence. Year 1, you knock out your core courses. Year 2, you move on to the advanced stuff. Then you write the thesis, and finally you defend it and graduate. Each one of those steps is a state, and each one gets you a little closer to that final goal. And here is the big reveal. That whole student journey we just talked about, it is, for all intents and purposes, an AI search tree. Seriously, an AI explores this branching tree of possibilities, looking for a route to the goal. And a student? Well, they follow a curriculum, which is really just a pre-approved single path through all the possible options. At the end of the day, both are just searching for a viable path that leads to a successful outcome. So that brings us to our last major point, measuring success. How do we actually know if any of this learning worked? In the AI world, they measure performance with, incredible precision. Look at this number, 87%. That's the percentage reduction in the search space, basically all the possible options, an AI achieved just by adding a single rule, a single constraint. Think about that. That one tiny change can take a problem that's practically impossible to solve and turn it into one that's finished in a few seconds. It's all about efficiency. And when you put the metrics for success side by side, The parallel is, well, it's just undeniable. AI folks are obsessed with things like time and space complexity, which is just a fancy way of asking how fast did it solve the problem and how much brain power or memory did it take. And in education, we use different words, of course: passing grades, diploma defenses, final exams, but they do the exact same job. They certify that the learning was a success. So, what's the big takeaway here? The crucial point is this. When you really break it down, both artificial intelligence and distance education are, at their core, formal systems for learning. They are built on the very same principles. It's the same blueprint, just for a different kind of mind. And that leaves us with one last big provocative question. If all of this is true, if learning for both humans and machines can be broken down into this kind of formal, logical system, then what's the one piece of the puzzle we're missing? What is the one thing about us, about human learning, that we still just can't program?